This item is, in my opinion, the most important release in the Cars diecast line in the past perhaps 10 years. Maybe the most important release since we first saw Cars 3 merchandise back in 2017. Headset Crew Chief Lightning McQueen, one of the most, if not the most, heavily requested items in the Cars diecast line ever, and easily the most significant thing from the Cars series to not be captured in diecast form yet. Not only is it a major variant of McQueen from Cars 3, it also is incredibly important, not just to Cars 3 as a movie, but to the Cars franchise as a whole. The moment McQueen puts on his headset is the moment that his 3-film character arc concludes. The moment where McQueen realizes that maybe in order to allow his career to continue, he has to give up racing and make way for the next generation. It is the ultimate sacrifice for his character, which shows how full his character arc has become over the course of the 3 Cars films. McQueen going from a hotshot rookie race car who's super self-absorbed to somebody who is willing to understand, no, maybe my time is over and I can still contribute to the racing world in a new way, but in a different way. It's an absolutely beautiful moment, and I get chills every time I see McQueen roll up to that stand with that headset. There is something beautiful and final and cathartic to that moment. And then it just never came out in the diecast line. For years and years we waited, and for whatever reason, it just didn't happen. About 2 years back, we got a mini racer of it, and that reignited conversations of, hey, where is the 155 scale diecast for this? I've said for years now that all of the headset variants from Cars 3 are missing. Not just Cars 3 McQueen's headset variant, but Fabulous McQueen's and the King's as well. We haven't received any of them. This is an item that I honestly never gave up hope on. I knew that one day we would see it. It was just too significant to the Cars series to never come out in the toy line. But of course, the last few years, as we all know, the Cars diecast line has been in a pretty bad place, and we've only been getting roughly one new item from the movies a year. Well, imagine my surprise. Imagine everyone's surprise. You don't have to imagine. I'm sure most of you were probably there when we learned that the new release we were getting from the movies this year was scaled down Morgan Martin's Guido with a different face, metallic Dale Earnhardt Jr., slightly sized up or down Rotor Trabowski, red, and okay, so there are a good few items from the movies this year, but this is like the main one. This is the main new main new mainline release. Geez, that was a nightmare to say. That is based on the movies. That isn't like, you know, a size variant, or in the case of Dale Jr., that's a character from a sideline. This is the new film release for the year, and I think it's just the perfect time. You know, not only are people incredibly frustrated with the diecast line's treatment of movie releases these last few years, and this one definitely helps soften the blow by being something incredibly highly requested and necessary, significant to the toy line compared to, no offense, the movie releases we've gotten the last few years have been pretty great, but they've just been background crew chiefs and Breaker Boggs, who I love dearly. I love you, Breaker Boggs, you're the best. But still, this is an item that is significant, that's important, and I think that this year was the perfect year to release it, not only to sort of, you know, help die down the uproar of complaints of the lack of movie releases, but also because, of course, it's the 20th anniversary of Cars this year. This past week, we celebrated it, of course, and this item beautifully encapsulates the progress of the Cars series. I'm not sure if releasing this item this year was intentionally done because it's the 20th anniversary of Cars, but considering the fact that every other new release we've gotten this year, other than those size variants and expression variants and the new Will Rush and stuff, have been anniversary themed with all the anniversary cars, the light up cars, and race celebrating and all that, I'd like to think that this was intentionally done this year to show the progress of the Cars universe. Headset Crew Chief Lightning McQueen is the most asked for, the most significant missing item in the Cars diecast line, and now, after a 9-year wait, it's finally here. If we are to only get one new item from the Cars movies in the diecast line per year for the time being, then I'm very happy this time around they chose to make it be something incredibly important and something that no one could pass up on. And not only that, it is an incredible looking item. So enough talking, let's take a look at it. Hello everybody, and welcome back to yet another review and to a very, very exciting 2026 Cars diecast review. Today we're taking a look at the Headset Crew Chief Lightning McQueen and Rusteze Cruz Ramirez 2-pack. This item released a couple months back, and I was so excited to find it. I was looking all over the place week after week, going to my usual stores, and I finally found it about 2 weeks ago, and I held on to it until this week. I knew I wanted to review an item this special as my first video after Cars' 20th anniversary. So here we are. The 20th anniversary of Cars was back on Tuesday. I took a couple days off, released a short in that time, and now I'm back with this review. I knew that I wanted to cap off the anniversary week of Cars with this item. I know I said on my community page yesterday that my next video would be in my thoughts covering anniversary news, like the theatrical re-release and stuff. That's a video I'm still working on. It'll be out on Tuesday. But for now, let's take a look at this item. I'm sorry I held off on this for 2 weeks, guys, but I was like, well, I already found the item much later than most other people, so I may as well wait until a special occasion. Of course, we have the very nice character art here with Rusteze Cruz, and this is just McQueen's regular Cars 3 art edited to have the headset, which I think looks perfectly fine. I will say the name here is incredibly clunky. Headset Crew Chief Lightning McQueen. They could have just called it Crew Chief Lightning McQueen, or perhaps Crew Chief Lightning McQueen with headset, like our other with headset variants have been called. A lot of the variant names in the last few years have been weird and clunky. This just adds to the list. Considering we're never going to get a non-headset Crew Chief McQueen because his paint job is no different as Crew Chief, why not just call it Crew Chief Lightning McQueen? Or again, Lightning McQueen with headset, or Crew Chief Lightning McQueen with headset, all would have worked. We, of course, have the Jim Reverick and Spiky Phillips 2-pack, and also McQueen and Cruz here with a, as you can see, very clearly prototype image of McQueen there. This item is, of course, a 2-pack exclusive. This year, you're only going to find this McQueen in this 2-pack with Cruz. I'm sure we'll see it in some other places. I would be shocked if it doesn't end up in, like, a Piston Cup Race 11-pack in the future. But for now, it is exclusive to this 2-pack. I'm going to put McQueen on the floor. I'm not even going to look at him. Because for now, we do have to at least very briefly touch on Rusteze Cruz, an item I reviewed several times on the channel over the years, of course. There we have it. So this is my original Rusteze Cruz from 2017, and here you can see this is the re-release from this year. This is the original Made in China. This is the 2026 Made in China, sort of China produced, made to look like a Thailand variant style version. And I gotta say, I think I like this version better. I really prefer the yellow. It's a lot more sort of kind of like speckled, sort of glittery, a little more shiny, and I feel like it's more of a bold yellow. I will say it looks like mine has some weird stuff going on the hood, some marks, which is unfortunate for an item just opened out of the package. I think I also like the facial expression better. The eyelashes are a little bit thicker and one eyebrow is a little bit lower than it is there. The mouth is also colored in here, which is an interesting thing to change. Sorry, I am having so much trouble speaking today. Jeez. As you can see, it's an interesting change to make. On the side, of course, we have the Rusteze Cruz 95, all sort of scribbled on by Ramon. It is impressive, Ramon's skills as a painter, that he threw this together as fast as he did. Of course, she is wearing McQueen's wheels. A very, very nice touch, although I will say, definitely looks better on that original release because the Thailand and now new China wheels have always been kind of off color, in my opinion. That's been one of my main complaints with them. She also has darker windows, which I think looks better as well. Moving around the back, we got this zigzagging lightning bolt style design, and once again, some weird scuffs on her. I don't know what's going on. Much thicker writing, almost blurrier for the 95 there, but much more vibrant colors on the zigzag on the back, and just more vibrant colors on Cruz in general, I think that this version does a much better job at making it look like it was quickly done spray painting, whereas here it looks more like a professional paint job. I just think here the decal looks a lot more like it realistically would. So yeah, I gotta say, I think I might prefer this to the original Rusteze Cruz. I think I'm probably going to end up repainting it eventually. I don't really need more than one Rusteze Cruz in my collection, but I think it definitely has some solid improvements over the original. But now that we've taken a look at those, it's time for the main attraction. This, I say a lot in my reviews that certain items feel surreal to me to hold when I finally get them, and this is definitely one of those cases. I have dreamed of this moment for years, and there have been few things in my collecting journey as satisfying as being able to pick up, place down, and talk about Cars 3 McQueen with headset. I don't even know where to start with this item. I'll start by saying, for what it is, it's a very basic concept, right? It is a Cars 3 McQueen with a headset. I don't think it has any right to look as incredible as it does. It's that simple of a concept. It's this McQueen, but he's got a headset on him. And look at how perfect this is. It turned out absolutely perfect. There is really, realistically, not that much to say about the item itself, because it's just this McQueen, but with a headset and a new facial expression. All the logos and everything are going to be the same. You're going to have some slight color variation because, again, this is a 2017 item. This is a 2026 item. Right off the jump, I could see the Rusteze logo on this version's a little smaller. The Lucky stickers are a little darker. The coloring is just a bit different. That's how it's going to be. Again, this is a current China variant. And, of course, you had years of Thailand variants between. But this item absolutely knocked it out of the park. I have no complaints about what they did here. For an item where they did not change anything, it takes a version of McQueen where I'm like, it's okay, to what may very well be one of the best McQueen variants in the history of this toy line. I am so happy that they changed the facial expression for this item. Not only did they give him new eyes, they also gave him a new mouth. And that expression, I think, might be the best expression in the entire diecast line. I've said for years now that over the past few years, Cars diecast expressions have gone above and beyond. Regardless of what you think about the GRC or Race and Rescue, I think we could all agree how great it is that all of those variants have new and unique facial expressions. And oftentimes, they knock it out of the park with the facial expressions. Items like Race and Rescue Chick Hicks, excellent facial expression, even if the rest of that item isn't all that interesting. A good face, in my opinion, can make or break a diecast. And this facial expression looks like it was ripped exactly out of the scene in Cars 3 where McQueen becomes Cruz's crew chief. I'm so happy they didn't go for a smiling expression, that they didn't go for a generic face like this one. I fully thought they were going to reuse this face when it was announced. But no, you have this really great determined smile that feels like it's pulled right from the movie. This is spot on to faces McQueen makes in that scene. And there is so much emotion in this face. There's determination, there's aggression, but there's also clear pride being shown here. You could see just looking at this diecast, McQueen is proud of what Cruz is doing. So much captured in this face, and it's such an accurate McQueen face that I am not afraid to say that I think this is the best face in this toy line. Genuinely, this is, I think, the most film accurate, the most perfectly fitting of a diecast, and I don't know if I could even think of other items that come close. This face is absolutely perfect. I think it blows out of the water nearly every other McQueen, even the ones with also near perfect facial expressions. The headset does its job, of course. It is a pretty basic headset accessory, very similar to the ones that we see in Cars 1, because it's sort of based off of that. Yeah, there's really not much to say about it. It works like a Cars diecast headset does. Attached to the roof, a little floppy on the side because it's not glued down, but it is attached to the item just right next to the mouth, as you can see there. And yeah, it's a good looking headset. It's correct. I really don't have any complaints about it. Maybe the earpieces could have been a little bit lower down. Maybe the angle could have been pushed a little more downward, but I really don't think there are any issues with how this looks here. I think it turned out absolutely perfect. Other than that, this really is just a pretty basic Cars 3 McQueen. You've got all the secondary sponsors, piston cap, octane gain, RPM, revolting, clutch aid. You've got his wheels there, which I do think look pretty nice and clean. Once again, some really great, vibrant gloss on McQueen's decals here. Maybe a little more vibrant on the 2017 one, but here the decals are certainly glossier, and the red is also a bit more vibrant, pops a bit more. You've got the McQueen logo or signature there, Rusteze on the back, the spoiler. There's a look at the back, the other side, and there's a look at the base, complete with the little pegals so that Mater can tow him. This is an item that I wasn't expecting to see this year, especially with the state the Cars diecast line is in. But items like this make me so hopeful for the future of the diecast line. This is an absolutely incredible thing, and I'm so happy that in this weird era of the toy line, they decided to pull out what I think is a running contender for one of the best Cars diecasts ever made. Not only is this easily the most requested item in the line, or has been for almost a decade now. Not only is it the most important item in the movies that we didn't have yet, like I said, fully encapsulates the end of McQueen's arc. It is the finale look for him for the final few minutes of the last Cars movie, until Fabulous McQueen, of course. Not only did they finally do that after 9 years of waiting, they delivered, and they made it look great. I said in my recent Will Rush review that to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Cars, I'd be adding a segment at the end of my videos where I talk about why the item I'm reviewing today is important to the 20-year run of the Cars diecast line. And I think I've explained that throughout this entire review. This item perfectly encapsulates Lightning McQueen's character arc, and now there is finally an official diecast showcasing the ending of his story in the Cars trilogy. And getting Cruz alongside him is a really nice and fun touch. That's why this item is important. It's important to the 20-year run of the diecast line because it's super important to the Cars series. It's a highly anticipated item, and once again, it shows that we could get some absolute home runs at the Cars diecast line, in the Cars diecast line, regardless of the year. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching this review. Let me know what you think about this 2-pack down in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. Bye now. Also, Mattel, now that you have the mold, please make Fabulous McQueen with headset next year, please.